Greetings, this is Obi-Wa Kenobi, and I have drifted into the underworld. The Star Wars underworld. I have a bad feeling about this.
Here we go. We must go to the lower levels. The underworld.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
You're after something.
Ben.
Since I've started the underworld, I've met so many great friends.
Chris.
I grew up in the 1990s, and mall packaging is nostalgic for me.
Dominic.
What I love most about Star Wars is that it's fun and it's all-round good times.
So, this is where the fun begins.
May the Force be with us.
This thing really moves!
I like this!
I can't believe you came all this way to see me.
Why am I not in the intro? I gotta come up with a snappy line.
I don't know how I'm supposed to begin the show normally now that we have that in our intro. Like, every time, it just throws me. Anyway,
It's the new normal.
What's up, Star Wars fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Star Wars Underworld podcast. We are your source for the latest breaking Star Wars news, reviews, and discussion each and every week. And this week on the show, we have a veritable cornucopia of Star Wars news from across all different projects. Yes, I did read that this time before saying it live, and I'm glad that I did. We are also taking listener questions in another classic edition of Ask the SWU later in the show, so get those super chats and Discord questions queued up. And we're going to be discussing a new upcoming fan event with a very special guest. All that and much more in this episode of the Star Wars Underworld podcast. Joining me from someplace very exciting and shiny and new. It's my good friend, Mr. Dominic Jones.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Ben. Hello, Hedda. Hello, everybody. And welcome to Star Wars Underworld North.
Yes.
The brand new Canadian annex of the palatial Star Wars Underworld Studios. If you're watching the video right now, I was anticipating not having this many people on when we did the reveal, so you get the more wider image of it, but it extends out further.
Make him the only one on the screen. How do we do that?
There you go.
I just bring that.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's good.
Do
That's
I have
good.
to do it? There you go.
There we go.
Now I am the only person on the show.
Look at that.
Yeah, welcome.
There you go.
Wow.
This has been
That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, this has been the last week putting together this new studio, or just room in the new house of Star Wars goodness, of autographs and action figures, and there's some books up there and over there, and all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, this is the new home for Star Wars, the Star Wars Underworld podcast, and Ion Canon in Canada, in Toronto. So here we are. There it is. Welcome. And exciting, a perfect, great show to kick it off with. It's going to be a great week.
That is so incredibly exciting. It looks fantastic, Dominic. Also joining us, it is Ben Hart, the Star Wars guy.
How's it going, everybody? From the same old place I've always done this show, literally since we started. Literally nothing has changed. But I'm still glad to be talking about whatever we're going to be talking about tonight. It's going to be fun.
Heck yes. And also joining us from Down Under and the Raeside, it's Hannah.
G'day there. Great to be back after having a week off, and somehow I'm sick again, but I'm here today. But I was sick 6 weeks ago, and I had a week off, and I'm sick again. I don't know what it is. It's winter here in Australia. There's always sickness going around, but I am excited to be here, talk about Star Wars, learn some new things, and get into it. Can't wait.
See, I just keep looking at your Instagram and seeing you hang out with Dr. Nuvo Vindi every weekend.
I know. I've got to stop hanging out with that guy. I keep
Yeah. Oh no, he's experimenting on you, I feel like.
Virus. Oh, yeah. He keeps testing the antidote on me. That's why I have to keep catching him. He keeps testing the antidote.
Oh my gosh. And then we also have a very special guest to introduce. It is the executive director of Legends Consortium, Katherine. How you doing, Katherine?
Hi, I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
So, Katherine, we'll talk about why you're here in a moment. But seeing as this is your debut on the Star Wars Underworld podcast, tell us your Star Wars history. How did you become a Star Wars fan? Take us back.
Yeah. So when I was 5, I had pneumonia, and my mom and dad were switching off with who was taking care of me. And when it was my dad's turn, we started watching like one movie a day of the original trilogy and then episode 1. And my mom came in right as they were retaking the Naboo Palace. And I wasn't allowed to watch violent things because I was a 5-year-old. And so then I was banned from Star Wars for a few years because she came in right at that moment and was like, this is not appropriate for a child. And I was so upset because like, I'd never been into like princess things. And like, yes, you know, they're handmaidens, not princesses, but like, to me, a 5-year-old, I was just like, these are princesses that I can get behind. Like, this is awesome. And what's so funny is that like now I love like Jedi is kind of my main interest, and I have zero memory of like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan watching that for the first time. Like it's all just like the handmaidens and Amidala. So yeah, that's the like way back history. I kind of came back into Star Wars at the end of elementary school, early middle school. I was a voracious reader, found Ambush on Corellia in the back of my school library, read that, was like so hyped about Jaina Solo in particular, and found the Jude Watson books after that, and just really never looked back. Being such a like, I just read everything back then when I had time, and I really enjoyed the fact that like these books all build off of each other in some way, and that's part of what really sucked me in. As soon as I turned 18, I joined the Rebel Legion costuming organization. I have since also joined 501st Saber Guild, Dark Empire. My costumes are generic Jedi, Mara Jade, a X-Wing pilot, and Hera Syndulla. And I'm now on the Global Council for Rebel Legion. And I, before I just moved recently, I was the local director of my Saber Guild temple as well. So, and then I started running this convention as well. So yeah, I just do everything basically.
Wow, how did we get you on this podcast? That is amazing. How did we get you here? Oh, this is awesome. That's amazing.
Two things that stood out. in that story. One, moms just have that ability to walk in at the worst possible moment of anything.
Always.
Anything.
Hands down.
I can't list the number of things that my mom said were okay and then subsequently banned because she walked in at the one point where somebody said, "You suck" in it. Yeah. It's like, come on.
They're swearing.
And the other thing is the Jude Watson books.
Yes.
Did you read them in order? Because I read them. Exactly. Yeah, I read them at around that same age. Yeah. And you would just get one here and there randomly, and they were just some scatterbrained, Qui-Gon's doing this week, and Obi-Wan's doing that this week, and this character's here, and now they're gone, but it happened something else. It's quite there's not quite that same level of chaos to Star Wars publishing these days, but I kind of miss it. Miss it.
Those books are a lot of fun, and chaos is absolutely the right descriptor for them. I love like that. Those books to me are peak Star Wars nostalgia. And it was completely random, the order in which I read them. And I think I found some of them online eventually, just because like the school library didn't have them and the public library didn't have them. So yeah. But yeah, I love those. Ferris Olin is actually one of my favorite characters. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. There's a deep cut. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Yeah. The other thing I loved about those was on the back, they had the thing of like Anakin growing up between the movies. They somehow morphed Jake Floyd.
Yeah, that horrible Animorphs kind of uncanny valley.
Amazing. Yeah. Those books, those were a time.
Wow.
Due for a revisiting, I think, at some point.
Yes.
But
I could have like I could do a whole essay about why Ferris Olin is one of the characters that should re-enter canon, and we don't have time for that.
Well, let's get the cliff notes. We are going to talk a lot of legends. Let's get the cliff notes. Bring back Ferris Olin. Let's go.
Yeah, bring back Ferris Olin. Really, it's like, so my favorite character is Mara Jade, and my own personal opinion is that she doesn't really fit within the current storyline of what Disney has going on. And so I'm very okay with her not being brought back into anything. But Ferris, there is really nothing that like you wouldn't have to change any major points of the character to just plop him right back in where he was. And a lot of the things that like, particularly post Fall of the Republic is where I would be interested to see him. Because Inquisitors have become a so much bigger thing within the Disney era of Star Wars. They were, originally in, I think, West End Games where they first popped up, but they're a huge part of that Last of the Jedi series. And I like part of it for me also, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, because it was a like word of God that happened in 2015, So Jude Watson said that what I would call text, some would call subtext of that Ferris and Rowan were in fact like a married couple. And,
nice.
She used the term partner within those books, which at the time was like, that was the current terminology. And like, there's a lot of things like sprinkled in that it's like, I would say it was text rather than subtext. And I just think that within like, now that queer representation is like, there's a lot more of it than there was previously. It certainly existed within Star Wars before. Like, I would say that Star Wars has always been progressive for its time. Like Juhani in 2003 as a lesbian character, like that, other games weren't doing that. But I think it would be really interesting, and particularly how Ferris ends up watching over Leia on Alderaan, really fits in well with like what we've seen in the Kenobi series, where she just runs off into the woods, and that's exactly what the issue was within Legends as well. And she needs like a Jedi who is able to track her down and haul her butt back to the palace when she's off being a little hooligan. And I think it'd be a lot of fun to bring him back in.
Yeah. Well, you've convinced me. You convinced me. And like this is a character who had a rivalry with Anakin, so yes. Things could be played with there. And we have a story coming up later in the show where I'm starting to see the pieces falling into place. So the campaign has begun. Yeah.
Save Ferris. # Save Ferris.
Got it.
Save Ferris.
I knew you would love that joke.
I love that. I love it. Amazing. Perfect. All right, Chris, let's plug some stuff, and then we'll get into some more fun.
All right. So if you are listening to the podcast, make sure that you subscribe and review us on your favorite podcast app. And if you're watching, make sure you punch that subscribe button, Chewy, on YouTube. If you're watching live, you can super chat with us, and we'll be getting to those super chats later in the show. You can also support us by becoming a channel member. And a great way to find us throughout the week when we are not live is over on the SWU network Discord. That's where we got game nights, movie nights, discussions going on at all hours of the day. And that's where you can leave questions for Ask the SWU for the podcast as well. And for the rest of social media, at the SWU is where you can find us. And finally, we want to remind everyone about all the other shows on the Star Wars Underworld podcast network. And that includes the Raeside, Ion Cannon, and Tales from Beyond the Galaxy. Ion Cannon's going to have its own studio reveal coming up.
I mean, it'll look a lot like this one. In fact, it will look identical to this one.
I want there to be like little tiny differences, like you just
like very
out.
Slightly.
Like,
yes,
that's what I'm curious about.
There was considerable negotiation over what pieces were going into the display behind me. Of like, well, we'll need Thrawn, so we need an Ahsoka. So we have, which Ahsoka is it going to be? Is it going to be this Disney Store doll one that we had, that I have? Or is it going to be a Black Series one? There was a lot of like back and forth and playing around. So I think we found a nice balance. And there is, Ion Cannon loves the High Republic. So there are these lovely High Republic books from the special editions from Celebration, nicely displayed behind me. So it's there. It's balance. Yes. Powerful light, powerful dark.
Where's something the Bendu like though? I don't see any Bendu back.
The Bendu.
I don't know how balanced it can be. Yeah.
That's the
character.
I don't think they made that action figure.
I get a custom.
That should be the new Easter egg. Is we should put a Bendu in somebody's background every week.
Just mail it around.
Yeah. Who's got who's got the Bendu this week, and where is it?
It's the new standard.
And if you
that's gotta happen.
if you find it, you get
the
something.
Bendu. We send you
get
the Bendu for a week.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like a class pet. You get to have it for the week.
Oh my goodness.
You have to feed it and make sure it gets enough rest and exercise and doesn't go fully god mode and change the weather on a planet.
Gosh. Oh my
good.
gosh.
So good.
Okay, let's get right into it. Let's talk about Legends Consortium, aka Legends Con. This is a convention that's happening in Burbank, California at the Marriott Convention Center, September 9th and 10th of this year. Catherine, as we mentioned off the top of the show, is the executive director, and she's here to talk about the convention. So I guess rather than just kind of trying to condense your website into my own summary, I'm just going to ask you, what is the bullet points of what Legends Con is?
Yeah. Well, it really is just born from a group of people who wanted to create a space to celebrate Legends in a positive environment, an inclusive environment. I'm able to bring in a lot of connections to Star Wars authors through the work that I've done with Rebel Legion. So we have Matthew Stover and Randy Stradley as our two big names. We have a third very big name who will be announced shortly as soon as we, get the stuff all sorted out, ducks in a row. And then we have Karina Bechko, who did the Star Wars Legacy Volume 2 for Dark Horse Comics.
Love it.
Sean Stewart, who wrote Yoda Dark Rendezvous and has never done a convention before. So this is going to be like the first time for him. And I really am looking forward to having him. Star Wars fans are really good at welcoming people, like creators, stuff like that, into the community. And so I'm really looking forward to him meeting the community for the first time. And kind of going back with Karina Bechko as well, her series of comics came out so close to the end of the Legends timeline that she didn't really get the full Star Wars experience of doing convention circuit stuff. So I'm really excited to have her come out for that as well. Barbara Hambly, author of Planet of Twilight and Children of the Jedi, she'll be there as well. She's also, a rarity at conventions these days. She's done a ton of amazing sci-fi fantasy things outside of Star Wars as well. And then for the fans of Star Wars Insider, we have Abel Pena. Really excited to bring him in. And Craig Miller, who was the original director of fan relations at Lucasfilm.
I see his book up on your shelf.
Yes,
back
the books behind me are all, related to some guest or another.
Awesome.
Yeah, and there's still more coming that, we're not announcing things until the final thing is signed and all that. But part of why we picked the Los Angeles area is because there are so many Star Wars creators locally. So as, a fan-run convention, that allows us to bring in a lot more people, because everybody but Matthew Stover and Randy Stradley are local. And wow. There's still more that we're working on. And it just allows us to, really put together a great show. They're all going to be doing panels. They're all going to be signing. And yeah, that's going to be a ton of fun. We also are going to do a small fan film festival, a costume contest and fashion show, have some trivia games. Cosplay is a big part of my Star Wars fandom, and I've roped in lots of other people within the Star Wars costume clubs to help with this, as well as people outside of them. It's good to have that mix. So we're going to be doing some cool photo shoots. If you go on our social media, pretty much all the pictures that we're posting are from a photo shoot that we held in January. That was so much fun. We got 13 Legends cosplayers there. I'm in the Ferris Olin costume. It's not totally finished. I still need to finish a couple more things before I submit it to Rebel Legion and whatnot. But that was just so much fun. Because a lot of times, nobody really knows who these characters are if you're just out and about. But when you get the full group together, we had a really solid group of KOTOR cosplayers, and you see a lot of Revans, you see a fair amount of Bastilas, but there was an Atten Rand there as well, and everybody had so much fun. playing off of her. It's a girl who does the costume. And, you know, like we pulled out a POSIC deck and like, yeah, we're just gonna have so much fun with cosplay things at the convention. Really getting, you know, those more niche characters, just it's a lot of fun to come together and just celebrate it. And that's what this is all about. We're not making any money off of this. That was actually one of the things we talked to fan relations at Lucasfilm, and they gave us a list of guidelines to follow to stay within their good graces for Star Wars fan events. And one of those guidelines was that all proceeds have to be donated to charity. So we have partnered with the Peter Mayhew Foundation, which was founded by the late Peter and Angie Mayhew.
Cool.
They do, I like to call it like guerrilla charity work, where like people are in crisis and, you know, the insurance won't cover whatever has happened, and they come in and they pay their medical bills. They pay, you know, whatever it is that went down. They're really awesome. And they also do, they go to like hospitals and drop off Star Wars toys and stuff. Like they're a really cool organization. It honestly is like I've worked with them before within the costume clubs, and it's the loss of Angie recently is just so devastating.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that, you know, like the organization will continue on, and I'm glad that we're going to be able to pass some money their way so that they can continue the work.
Yeah,
So,
it's such an incredible legacy that Peter and Angie have left behind, and it's really lovely to see that carrying on and carrying forward, and you know, carrying forward the spirit of Chewbacca. Forward like that feels like something Chewie would do. Chewie was always there when you needed him, and Peter and Angie and the Peter Mayhew Foundation doing that for folks. Okay, again, two things. Catherine, look at me. Look at me. Is the third big guest Jude Watson? Come on, blink twice if yes. Blink twice if yes.
Don't do this to her. Don't do that.
I can say no to that because we've not contacted her yet. But this lets me segue in. We are running a Kickstarter right now through June 26th, and part of what that would be going toward the Kickstarter, part of what those funds go for, is for us to be able to afford to bring in more out-of-town guests. And I can say that she is currently number one on the list of like the next person that I'm going to be reaching out to. I have no idea if she'll show up because within the Rebel Legion during like the height of the pandemic, we did some webathon events, and I ran 3 of the 4 of them. And for every single one of them, I emailed her publicist and was like, hey, can we do an interview? Because that's how I got to know Matthew Stover and Sean Stewart. I interviewed them on the webathons, which was so awesome. But yeah, every single time it's been like nothing back whatsoever. So I have no idea if we, you know, do get the extra funding to be able to bring in more awesome guests like her, if she'll respond this time. But here's hoping, because I have so many questions. And I think she is the most prolific Star Wars author in terms of number of books published.
I believe that. Yeah. Those, each of those series, like there's the pre-Phantom Menace one, the Between Attack of the Clones and Revenge and the post one, like they were like 19 books each. Like it was, and then it was an entire new Jedi Order.
Yes. And then there's a bunch of like more standalone type ones as well. Like she did like some journals around episode 1, like one with Padme and stuff. Yeah. Like she's written a lot. Yeah.
That's a good trivia question. Who is the most prolific Star Wars author by number of books? I like that. Then we have to find out by number of pages and number of words too, just to complete the
good luck with that.
And that would be one that I don't know. So there you go. That's how to trip me up.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I'd be sitting there with a copy of every book going, okay, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But no, but going back to the cosplayers, you were talking about, you know, people not always recognizing the Legends characters when they're out and about. I witnessed such a wonderful moment of this a couple of months ago at Celebration London, because I was in a line, was waiting for one of the panels, and there was a dude couple of shoots over from me in a really clearly a lot of work and a lot of time had gone into this costume. It was quite impressive. I had no idea who the hell he was supposed to be. But I saw someone go up to him and go, "Oh my God, you're so and so from something
such
or
and
other.
such. Yeah.
And he was like, wow, nobody ever gets this when I'm at my local cons. This is great. And then there were these two people that had this connection, and they, had a nice little chat about their love of whatever this project was. And that's the thing about Star Wars, is there's so many characters, and it's impossible to know all of them. Han Solo, Darth Vader, they'll probably get the most attention when you're, at the local charity 5K. But there's something exciting about seeing a character you're not used to seeing just walking around taking pictures. And, it has the possibility to make a Star Wars fan's day in a way that, once you get used to being around the stormtroopers, you go, oh yeah, stormtroopers. Yeah. Normal. That's how it's supposed to be. Still exciting, but a little numb to it. But then, Ferris Olin walks in and you're like, finally someone.
And that's really, that has been my experience. Like, when I'm signing up for an event within the costume clubs, picking which costume I feel like is the most appropriate for that event. If I'm doing Children's Hospital, it's going to be Hera Syndulla rather than Mara Jade, because the kids don't really know who she is these days, which is fine. And Hera, they all know who she is and they love her. And one time I had to leave a hospital room because the kid's heart monitor was like going up and up and up because he was so excited about Hera. And I was just like, this is not good. Like, we're just going to tap out here before this becomes a problem. So it's going to be great. Really looking forward to that aspect.
Lovely. That's amazing. So if people want to go, if they want to get involved, if they want to support the Kickstarter, where can they find that information? What's the way to do it?
Yes. So everything is on our website, legends-con.com. And
that's not going to get confusing. That's not going to
No, not
legendscom.com.
Con.com. There we go.
Legendscon.com. And yes, our Kickstarter, if you just Google LegendsCon Kickstarter, it'll pop up. The URL is something long. It's like Kickstarter/LegendsCon/event 2023.
Very easy to find from the website. I've noticed when you go there, that's the easiest way to get to it.
Yes. And we're like $500 away from our goal right now. And we have 4 days left. And Kickstarter is all or nothing. So if we don't hit that goal, we don't get anything, and that'd be super sad. And even if you're not able to make it out to Burbank for the convention, I still think that there's, real benefits to donating. We are going to be recording all of the panels unless a panelist objects to that, and we'll be posting those online after the event. We can't live stream. That's one of the guidelines we got from Lucasfilm. But they didn't say we can't record it and post it later, so that's what we're doing. And there's rewards for everything above a donation of $15 or more, ships worldwide. And if you can make it, our tickets are available there as an add-on for any donation tier, and they're about $25 less than they are on our usual ticketing platform. Just we did a discount, and then also you can avoid the fees that are on that other platform, which takes it down to about $25 less. So definitely check that out. And, also just if you believe in creating a space that is positive to be fans of Star Wars Legends, throw us a couple bucks, help us make this be the change you want to see in the world. Help us make this a really fun event.
Yeah. That's the thing that Star Wars needs more of. It needs more positive fan-run spaces. Yes. Whether that's Legends, whether that's Rebels, whether that's everything that's going on. It's so easy to fall down the rabbit hole of negative Star Wars content that's out there. You put Star Wars into YouTube, and after you see whatever the most recent trailer is, you just find a mountain of garbage, and that's not our experience, with Star Wars fans. And, a lot of that is because we've been lucky enough to go to things like Celebration, where people are excited to be there. And Legends Con is it sounds like it's a unofficial, more niche version of Star Wars Celebration, which, what could be better? Yeah. And I really hope that people, give it a chance. Like I have seen some stuff online of people saying, oh, it's just going to be like a bunch of dude bros, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like you gotta,
give us a chance, man. Like, it's the group of people who are running this,
Come on.
like there's a lot of women involved with this. There's like, it's not, nobody lives in their parents' basement who's running this. Like, and it just, not that there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited to bring all these authors together. Let them, experience the love of Star Wars fans, because they've all been out of the loop for so long with it that they haven't, some of them have expressed like they're really excited to do another Star Wars event, because otherwise, they don't have anything out recently. Even the ones who, like, because a lot of these people on the list have Essential Legends books that are coming out or have come out already, and there's not, like, talking to Matthew Stover, like, he didn't even get like an FYI email about that was happening. He just saw it on Twitter. Somebody tagged him in something of like, oh, hey, they're doing Shatterpoint as an Essential Legends book. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Nobody told me. So
if nobody had tagged him, he wouldn't have found out till the royalty check showed up.
Right?
Going, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Hey, More money. Yeah, that's always a good thing. Yeah. He's so much fun to talk to. When I was doing the interview with him for Rebel Reads, one of the Rebel Legion webathons, heard about, so the Revenge of the Sith novelization was line edited by Lucas. And a couple days before like the final draft of it was due, Lucas said, hey, you've got, I don't know how many of you have read the novelization, but there is like this whole imagery around Anakin's fall to the dark side, and like talking about like how even stars burn out, and like there's this dragon that's inside of Anakin. None of that existed until like 3 or 4 days before the draft was due, because he had something else in there, and Lucas was like, nope, this isn't a good representation of the dark side. Take it out, do something else. Which led to him stomping around drunk in the snow, trying to like come up with something else to replace this with. Went in, crashed, woke up the next morning, and the dragon and the dying star that just, out on the keyboard. Listen to him tell that story, because there's more to it. And yeah, they all have such great stories. I'm really excited to hear from them.
Yeah, it sounds terrific. Sounds terrific. So again, what's the website again?
So you can go to legends-con.com for all of the information, and you can also find a link to that Kickstarter very front and center there on the website. And then the convention itself is coming up this September 9th and 10th, and it is in Burbank, California at the Marriott Convention Center there.
Yes, and it is awesome. The Marriott Convention Center there is right next to the Burbank Airport, so you do not have to go through LAX if you're flying in. Honestly, you could walk from the airport to the convention center if you are so inspired. Like, it's that close.
And there's a lot of really good fast food restaurants between the airport and the convention center too. So don't worry about food
and
at
also,
this
like,
convention.
There's also some non-chain restaurants there too. I was actually just there recently, and
nice area.
There's like a Greek place and a Japanese place that are not fast food, that are both really decent.
So you can have your full experience where you fly into a very small, very convenient airport, and then you got all your food, you got your hotel, you got your convention, all in just one spot, like across the street from each other. Like that's what sounds like the most relaxing, least stressful convention experience ever.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure it will be a good time. I wish I could go. That sounds like it'll be a blast.
I'm looking up flights from Sydney right now.
I know that's the next tier in the Kickstarter.
Yeah, let's go.
Flying people from Canada and Australia.
Yeah. So far we have, the majority of tickets sold on the platform that we're selling tickets on. You can see where people are, roughly. We have 3 Canadians and 1 person from the UK coming in. And I really hope that I have a chance to meet that person who's coming in all the way from the UK, just to be like, thanks for making the trip out for this.
Thanks for
you
that.
have to have your hype up person at like your biggest panel do that thing where like, who traveled the farthest? Raise your hand.
Oh yeah. I love this.
Yeah,
like,
that's how we'll find them. Yeah.
Spotted you. Worked. Yeah.
Amazing. You gotta get like Drew Karpyshyn or one of the Canadian authors to go, and then I can hide in their suitcase.
Yes.
track down Drew.
Yeah. So Doug Wheatley is a friend of mine, the artist for the Dark Times comics, and he did the Revenge of the Sith novelization. If you have never seen his pencil work, Google that right now. It is absolutely insane. And I like it. The committee collectively decided, what the list is for how we were going to reach out to the various out of town guests, trying to get like a widespread of different things, blah, blah, blah. And I was outvoted with my like nepotism of wanting to bring him in. But again, Kickstarter. So yes, we might have a Canadian if we can afford to fly him in. It's because we really, we want to give these guests a good experience, and that means, paying for their expenses, and that unfortunately takes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just
make sure whoever the Canadian is, they come through Toronto, so I can just, I'll just sneak into their luggage while it's being moved from one plane to another.
Excellent. Yeah.
Also, just buy a lot of maple syrup. You might just summon the Canadians,
Yeah. There we go.
I love it.
It's like a bat signal maple leaf coming out. Yeah.
Basically.
Point at the sky. Yep.
Just maple leaf in the sky.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically. Terrific. All right, Catherine, you're gonna stick around. You're gonna join us for the rest of the show. And we got a lot of news and stuff to get to. But before we do that, Ben, Chris, remember what we did last week?
Yes, I do.
Yes, definitely.
Shall we do it? Shall we play another round?
Oh,
Should we play another round?
No, I don't know what's going to happen. I didn't watch last week. Oh no.
Oh yeah, Hannah wasn't here, and Catherine has no idea.
Yeah.
You guys,
I'm excited though.
In for a treat. So last week on the show, we played a round of Finish the Line Star Wars edition.
Oh.
So to give the context again for everybody who might have missed last week's show, I discovered this whilst scrolling TikTok. I came across the account at Sweet Barreline, which is just the perfect name. And it's hosted by a woman named Caroline, and she she plays a sequence from a Star Wars movie and then pauses it. And it's up to you to say either this back half of a line or the next line in that scene. And so last week we put Ben, Chris, and Chris to the test. And Ben, as expected, nailed it. 9 out of 9
expected
for Return of the Jedi. Chris did all right. 5 out of 9 for Attack of the Clones. Pretty good. Our dear friend Chris Abbott, aka Star Raptor,
rest in peace.
He struggled. He got 1.5 out of 9 on A New Hope.
Killed him.
So
those are hard.
Yeah. So the bar.
He got the hardest one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. A New Hope was the hardest one.
We're going to trap the people that want to do the original movie.
Yeah. So we're going to give it another go. Ben, you will try to defend your title. Chris, you can see if you can up your rankings. Hannah and Catherine, see if you can unseat our champion.
Yes,
we can.
Off the boards are Attack of the Clones, A New Hope, and Return of the Jedi. So you can still pick from The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. So, Catherine, as the guest, we will give you first pick. We won't make you go first. We'll torture Ben, but we'll give you first pick of the films that are available.
I'm deciding between Revenge of the Sith or Phantom Menace. Let's go with Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace. All right, yeah. Hannah, what are you feeling?
I'll scoop up Revenge then. I'll
Revenge of the Sith. All right, Chris.
I guess I'm gonna go with Empire.
And Ben, which film of the sequel trilogy would you like?
No, I was gonna say I already had mine picked because I was like, okay, I really need to throw myself into the deep end. So, and last time I picked Return of the Jedi because I've seen it a bunch and also I saw it recently. So let's pick the one that I've seen the least, The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay. All right, Ben. Well, let's throw you into the deep end. So there's 9 questions. I'll read the setup line, and then it's up to you to give either the rest of the line or the next line.
I know how this works, okay? I'm prepared. Maybe.
I'm giving the context for anyone who might need this, Ben. You're not the
I
only
know, I'm
person
being a
here.
jerk. I'm being a jerk, okay? Just
Yes.
ignore me.
And I will say, I do sometimes give out bonus points for just keeping the line going as long as possible, or for impressions. If you can do an impression, you might get a bonus point. And for
I'm gonna be
folks
so good at this.
For folks who are watching live in the chat, feel free to play along, but play along, like keep your score yourself. Don't put the answers in the chat. You don't want people to see the answers. Don't want any of these for cheating. And if you do post an answer in the chat, I will put you on timeout. So you'll get a little temporary ban from the chat. So play along.
Sit in the corner. Think
Tell
about
us
what
your
you've done.
score when we're done. But don't try and help anybody, especially not Ben. He doesn't need the help.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
All right, Ben, are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
I'm so excited. This first one's great. All right, here's the line. You know what you are? What?
You're difficult. You're a difficult man.
So close. You are so close. But it's you're difficult. Really difficult. You're a difficult man.
Oh.
Nope.
Gee, that's so close. You don't give him that.
Nope.
That was me all last week. I was half right on everything.
I might give someone else that, but remember Ben got 9 out of 9 last week.
Okay,
he's not getting
I'm not
the
getting
benefit.
any no second chances here. No second chances for me. The deck's stacked against me here.
All right, next question. Next one. See if you can get this one. The line is, Dad.
I know.
The whole line. There you go.
Oh, of course.
Good job, Ben. Good job. All right, here we go. Taking one last look, sir.
At my friends.
Nailed it. No, you can't do it for me.
Hint.
It's what's the hint? What's a good hint? Yeah, you can't ask for a hint. It's a good
I'm not allowed
question.
to do that either, eh? Oh boy.
No, you are. The person who says the next line wasn't the recipient of the previous line.
That helps. That doesn't help in the slightest. For the
Jeez.
record. Can I get the line again?
That's kind of the case most of the time.
I forgot to think of hints for these. Here the line is, no, you can't do it for me. So the only other hint I can think of, I think, would give it away a little too much.
I don't even know what.
I'm drawing a blank completely.
All right, you giving up, Ben?
Yes, that's a white flag for me.
So the line that's Rey talking to BB-8. She says, "No, you can't do it for me." And then Leia says, "Yes. Never underestimate a droid."
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Next line. I am all the Sith.
And I'm all the Jedi.
Very close, because it's and I am all the Jedi.
That's what I said.
Which she repeats I.
Yes.
The I.
I twice.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that one, Ben. I'll give you that one. No, the reason why I know the answer so specifically is because in the TikToks they show the clip from the movie, so you can actually like hear the line as it's said.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. It would be picked up again by someone who would finish her journey.
A 1,000 generations live in you, Rey.
Oh, you got it. You nailed it.
Wow.
How did I do that?
Wow.
That just reached into my subconscious. I don't know where that came
Dang.
from.
Oh.
All right. How about this one? I don't believe you believe that.
Again, blanking. Hint.
The character who says this is only in The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh my god. Yeah, the hint just made it worse. I was like, I thought I had it, but then I'm like, no, that's not true.
All right,
That's
you giving up?
impossible.
Giving up?
Yes, I'm giving up.
All right. The rest of the line is they win by making you think you're alone.
Okay, yeah.
Love angry Ben. All right.
Yeah.
Rey, some things are stronger than blood.
Hint.
I don't remember half.
I hate this line.
Oh, I know.
I don't hate
I
it, but
know.
it bothers me.
I know what I didn't know what I. Oh, I think I know what.
There's
it
no
is now.
stealing, but maybe.
I mean,
we
I
should
know
go
who's
to Chris
saying it.
Ruby.
I can't think of the rest of it. I know the scene. I can picture it, but I can't.
It's not enough, Ben. It's not good
No,
enough.
it's not. It's just not enough. I'm just not enough.
Chris,
Okay.
you wanna
Wait,
give the answer?
Is this?
It's not for
Is this
points.
where he says? Is this the one where he says you're a Palpatine?
No.
Ah.
Now, confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So that's not
I
as
did not
hated
put
as
that.
the other.
No,
one
it's
from your
not. It's
parts
not.
over there. Okay.
No, but I don't hate the line. I just don't think it's not on par with great Star Wars wisdom. And the final film of the Skywalker
okay, we're not
saga
getting into
needed-
that. We're not getting into
needed
that.
a great-
Okay,
all right,
the
fine,
ship
fine,
has
fine.
sailed.
Fine. All right, final one for the Rise of Skywalker. Where did they get all these fighter crafts? They have no navy.
I don't know, sir. It's just people.
Close,
Yeah, I
but no
figured it was
cigar.
close.
It's
The
not a
gist.
navy. It's not a navy, sir. It's just people.
Oh.
Ben,
There you go.
I think this is your toughest round of trivia yet because you got 1, 2, 3, 4 questions right. 4 out of 9.
Wow, these are hard.
Ben jamming.
Nervous now.
Actually, I've
I'm
fallen
scared.
from grace. I am a disgrace.
I'm not sure that this is. I'm not sure, but I think that might be the toughest one of them. I think that genuinely might have been the toughest one.
Well, look, you all should be thanking me now. I took a bullet for you. Okay.
Set
I think I
the
got
bar.
one.
True.
The bar has been set at a height. All right, Hannah, which one did you pick?
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. All right, you're up.
Okay. Oh,
right.
jeez. Wasn't ready. All right. Yes.
All right, here we go. Here's line number 1.
Oh.
I do not fear the dark side as you do.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Question 1 is broken, Hannah.
And I know this one. I can do it right now.
Oh. You do. Oh, shit. He's like yelling at him. I don't fear it as you do.
You got it.
I don't fear it as you do.
Do you have the script written up on the ceiling the way you're looking up like that? You're like, I don't feel the dark side as you do. Oh no! I have to turn the page. Turn the page.
Yeah. Where's line? Where's my line? You do.
Line, George.
I don't have it. Like I embrace it or something. I don't know. No idea. No idea.
I do not fear the dark side as you do. I have brought peace.
Oh,
and
shit. No, wait. That's the line answer.
Oh, that one.
There it is.
I forgot that came before that.
Yeah. I'm not used to that.
That's why this
All
is
right.
tough.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, jeez.
Here's one you better get. Yeah,
Oh, no.
all of you better
I'm not
get
gonna
this
get
one.
it now.
All of you listening better get this one. All right. Commander
no.
Cody, the time has come.
To execute Order 66.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Nailed
There
it.
we
See?
go.
Back on track.
Okay.
All right. This next one,
Oh no.
man, it's the line, but
Oh God.
the setup. All right. The Jedi are selfless. They only care about others.
Yeah, this is one of
Who's
those.
saying this? What are they? The Jedi are careless,
Selfless
selfless,
or
They
careless.
Only, the Jedi are they're selfless. They only care.
They
about
only
others.
care about others.
Oh, hang on. I'm placing it. It's
Oh,
it's happening.
this one's dirty. This one's bad. So unfair.
Hint.
The answer is a meme.
Oh, I know. I know.
Every other line in that movie isn't a meme.
Yeah, I was
That
about
is
to
also
say.
true. I think I know about where this is.
What is it? One more time.
Hold on. The Jedi are selfless. They only care about others.
They only care about others. Oh shit. I really don't know.
No. All right, here we go. Next line. The rest of the next line, and everybody who didn't know is going to be kicking themselves. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?
Oh my god! I thought it was freaking Padme and Anakin.
I was gonna say like there's a long pause. This is what trips you up.
Yeah.
The hint about it being a meme that got it for me.
Yeah.
That's a good hint.
That jogged it in my
hint.
brain.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
geez.
Anakin, my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy.
I need to quit my channel after this. I quit Star Wars. My allegiance to the Republic, to democracy. Yeah, is it here now? I don't think it is Kenobi that continues. I don't think he continues there. To democracy, and then I think it's Anakin that replies to that. To democracy.
You're on the right track.
If you're not with me, you're my enemies. Is it that one?
Correct.
Is it?
You nailed it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Here's the next question. The next one is what's the line that comes right after that?
After what Anakin says?
Oh, yeah. If you're not with
this.
me, then you're my enemy.
You're my enemy. Then I think it's like the end of the conversation. And is it Kenobi that says, "Not with me, you're my enemy"? Is it Kenobi that says, "I will do what I must"? Dang!
It's almost.
You skipped one.
Only
You
a
skip
Sith.
one?
Only a
Oh,
Sith feels an
of course.
absolute.
That one comes first.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Oh, man.
All right. It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
This is all from one scene. What is happening? Almost like you're just doing the whole scene.
I have the high ground. Oh.
What? Why is Hannah getting all the ones I know? I could have beat Ben. I could have beat Ben if I got this movie.
You should have picked Revenge of the Sith.
She picked before me, I think.
You could have picked it last week.
But I would have probably.
high
Well, I
ground.
would have beat him with my Attack of the Clone score. So that was good.
True.
I can't remember Anakin saying. I feel like he just goes, "Bah!"
That's that classic Anakin Skywalker. Blah!
There's Lucas is like, we're not using that one.
It's kind of the spirit of the line is a bit of a. Blah.
It is. It very
Yeah.
is.
But yeah, it's, I have the high ground.
I have a hint. I don't know if
Can
it's
I?
allowed.
Can I steal?
Is it? I think it's. Is it when he says? Oh, this is probably. I feel like I'm missing a line, but is it the one where he says, "I hate you"?
Yeah, you're missing a few lines in between because the next line is "You underestimate my power."
Why am I so bad at this? Jeez. Okay, yeah. Is that the last one?
No, it's still going.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Oh, no.
All right, next line. Are you coming, Master?
No, you coming, Master. Oh, hang on. This is not my guess. Let me just speak it
This
out.
one's tougher.
He says, "No, I'm not brave enough at politics." But does he say before that?
Yes. You got it.
Is that
You got it.
No,
You
that
got
Oh,
it.
okay.
There we go.
Okay, good. All right.
You were working through the line, and you just.
I was about to add a
happened to
line
get
in
it.
between that.
That's funny.
All right.
Okay.
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Nailed it. And final question.
Oh, that one.
The Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
This is how democracy dies. No, it ends. This is how democracy. This is how. But this is how.
Oh no!
Oh shit!
Oh, so
This is
close.
how. This is how democracy
You're so close. You're
dies
so close.
with thunderous applause. This is how. This is the end.
This is the end.
Over
Iris
for all
out.
of us.
Did it.
That'd be crazy if the movie
Oh
ended there.
no!
So this is how Liberty dies.
Liberty
With
Oh,
thunderous
Liberty.
applause.
That's half point. That's half
Liberty.
point.
Not the Liberty.
All
No,
right.
it's- yeah,
Hannah, you got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4.
Okay.
You
Right.
tied Ben.
Oh.
Ben.
Woo.
All right. Catherine, you're up. Your
All
turn.
right, let's do this.
The Phantom Menace. All right. Question 1. I spec.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Now get out of here.
Nailed it. Nailed it. You were right about one thing, Master.
The negotiations were short.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them.
They come from the moons of Aego, I think.
Oops. Nope.
No.
You got the
Nope.
line. That's the line from before. The line after is
All
they're
right.
the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Oh.
But you're on,
I would have screwed that up too.
yeah, on the right
It's backwards
track.
in my head.
Yeah.
All right. How about this one? Perhaps I killed a Jedi and took it from him.
No one can kill a Jedi. I wish that were so.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a 0.5 for that one because you kept it going. Because I don't think so. No one can kill a Jedi.
Yes. Yeah.
But because you brought in the back half,
that on.
you kept it going. We'll give the 0.5. All right.
Okay.
Always two there are, no more, no less.
A master and an apprentice. But which
Nailed
was
it.
destroyed? The master or the apprentice? Zoom out to Palpatine's face.
Bonus point
Nice.
for that one. All right. No, they won't.
Oh gosh. Like I know exactly. Like it was like I don't know what comes after.
This is hard. This
oh.
is hard.
What do you think you are? Some kind of Jedi waving your hand around? It's not
Yeah,
quite
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. I'll give you
Okay.
that one. It's do you think you're some kind of Jedi waving your
Okay,
hand
yeah.
around like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I'm a Toydaria. The mind
That's-
tricks don't work on me.
On me. Yes.
Only money.
So good.
Mom, you say the biggest problem in this universe?
Is nobody helps each other.
Nailed it. Fear is the path to the dark side.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to, I can't do a Yoda voice. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. I sense much fear in you.
Nailed it. Nailed
There you
it. And finally, I will not defer. I've come before you to resolve this attack on our sovereignty now.
God, what comes after that?
I'm wondering myself.
This one. Oh.
Oh, if this body is not able to reach, nope. Okay.
No, no,
Okay.
it's
All right.
I was not elected to watch my people,
Oh, yeah.
people suffer and die while you would
Oh.
discuss this invasion in a committee.
Forgot about that.
Catherine, you've taken these guys to school.
Woo!
Let's see, 1, 2, 2.5, 3 and a bonus point, so 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 7.5 out of 9. That's how
Nice.
it's done.
Wow. Solid.
All
I
right.
have a really good auditory memory. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
That helps.
If it was
All right.
like trivia about like what the ships were named, nothing. But, yeah.
All right,
Oh my
Chris.
gosh. I'm scared.
Fine.
If
You- you've got
is
the
this gonna
Empires.
go? Is this gonna be like A New Hope, where it's the hardest possible?
I'm gonna say my personal read on it
Oh no.
is this might be the easiest one.
Oh. So when I fail, it's gonna be embarrassing. Got
Yeah.
it. That's even worse. That's worse to hear. That's all the pressure.
All right, line 1.
Okay.
I love you. That's the line.
know.
I'm not just professing. Okay, good.
I know.
Nailed it. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. Come on.
Okay, this is tough because there's a fake version of this online.
Often
That's not right.
misquoted.
It's misquoted. So I don't want to screw up and misquote it.
Yeah,
So
I won't
there's the
give
one
it to you. if
that
you
everybody says
misquote
it is, and then there's one it actually it is.
Yeah.
Just think of the meme, and it's not that.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have to start? All right.
Is it no, I am your father?
Yes, you nailed it.
Nice.
There's no Luke in there. That's the thing that always screws me up. Is the Luke is a fake thing that was added by people in telephone.
Yep.
Got it.
All right. Here's the next one. Why you stuck up?
Oh. Okay. What are these words? Why you stuck up? Half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Nailed it. Nailed it. All right.
Wow.
So the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Nailed it. All right. Here's maybe this one might be more of a challenge. He felt surprise was wiser.
When the heck even is this?
All right, this one is more difficult.
I'm good. Go right into head.
It's early in the movie.
Oh, okay. You have failed me for the last time.
He is as clumsy as he is stupid.
That other one comes later. Got it.
Yep.
I'm mixing up the Vader smackdowns.
Yep. You are free to use any means necessary, but I want them alive.
No disintegrations.
Nailed it. That boy is our last hope.
No, there is another.
Nailed it. Great warrior.
Adventure, excitement, a Jedi Christ, not these things.
Wars not make one great.
Right.
Oh boy.
That comes first.
And finally, good. It would be unfortunate if I had to leave a garrison here.
Hint.
Slide's kind of referenced in. Actually, no. There's a great Robot Chicken sketch about this line. That's the hint.
This deal is getting worse and worse all the time.
There you go. That one might have
nice hit.
That might have been too easy a hint. All right, Chris.
I'll take it.
You nailed it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 9. So a tie between Chris and Catherine for the top spot, and a tie between Ben and Hannah for second/last. So
yes,
last place, yeah.
There it is. There it is.
And
All right.
for the record, I have already begun construction of my own version of this quiz.
Oh man!
So it might take a bit, but I'll update you in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it does sound like a threat.
Yeah.
Oh, you damn well it is.
All right, let's get to the news. And we'll start with the top story across all of Hollywood these days, which is the Writers Guild strike and how it is affecting productions of various shows, including Andor. Stellan Skarsgård, he who played Luthen Rael, wouldn't you want to risk it all for something real? He was on
everything.
Jesus. He was on the Dagobah Dispatch podcast from Entertainment Weekly. It's a pretty good name for a podcast. I'll give him that. And he spoke about it a little bit. He said, Tony has gone on strike as of the 1st of May. He finished the scripts right on the day, and then he shut off the phone and disappeared into a picket line somewhere. So we'll see. He claims that the series is director-proof and actor-proof, which means that it can't be destroyed. We'll see if that works. I mean, that's a very optimistic way of putting it, Stellan.
I listened to this podcast today, and he says it in a very kind of jokey way of just I'm not sure he believes that. He's like, oh well, Tony's saying this. So yeah, it's not the most optimistic approach to this.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of these shows that are shooting now, I think the studios are banking on the strike ending before they go to air, and they'll do extended reshoots if necessary once they're allowed to rewrite stuff. So as much as Tony might say it's writer proof or director proof or any of that stuff. I don't know. You take a key creative out of the picture and say you can't work on this anymore. I feel like the quality would slip even if it's still high. And one of the best elements of Andor season 1 was the writing. And so I think you need I mean, this whole thing needs to get sorted out. The writers need to get a fair deal sooner or later. But at least with Andor, it's a long way away. Skeleton Crew is kind of the one where I'm like, what's this gonna look like? Because they shot a good amount of it before they went on strike, but it's still kind of far away. And we know from recent Star Wars productions in the last 10 years that a lot can change after principal photography is wrapped. And so you want to go back in there and make edits and make changes. That's the one where I'm sort of like, what are we going to do here, guys? I hope I hope these scripts are as good as you say they are.
Yeah, that's what just scares me about, because like the writing in season 1, as you said, just phenomenal in Andor, and the idea that like the writer and the showrunner is not there and they're filming, kind of scary. And they're Hollywood has a history of screwing up really good things by letting not because of the strike, by allowing strikes to happen and creating an environment where strike needs to happen. And that's what we're dealing with here. So, Andor is like, it's the one I'm most worried about. Obviously I'm worried about a lot of things, but, Andor is just like this perfect thing. I want it to be perfect again. And, it's, future hangs in the balance.
Yeah. Catherine, what was your, what are your feelings on Andor? What did you think of season 1?
I thought it was great. Yeah, I like how each of like the Disney Plus shows has its own vibes. And Rogue One is my favorite film out of like since Disney has started doing the movies. So I was really excited for it, and I'm looking forward for season 2. I hope that everything works out. I fully support the writers. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Something that I think is probably safe, although you never know, is the Ahsoka series. The promotional blitz has begun for this show. Total Film has a new exclusive image from the series featuring Ahsoka, and in the background, kind of out of focus, you can see Hera and Huyang. I never know how to pronounce his name. Huyang.
I can never get it. Huyang?
It's David Tennant.
It's pronounced the Doctor.
It's the Doctor. Jedi Master, the Doctor. Hey. Total Film asked Rosario Dawson about playing Ahsoka more and continuing to explore the character. She said, I mean, I do, and I hope Filoni does. I really marvel at Dave's journey, and I'm so happy for him and proud of him. I've loved him as a fan, and now having had the chance to be on set with him daily and work with him and pick his brain, and him being my own personal encyclopedia for everything Star Wars and beyond, it's just been a marvel. I mean, they haven't announced a future for Ahsoka. Like, they haven't announced the second season. Going into this season, going into Obi-Wan Kenobi, I thought, okay, we're getting one season of that. That'll probably be it. Going into Mandalorian, they're thinking we'll probably have multiple seasons of this show. What are you guys' feelings going into Ahsoka being just over 2 months away from the show? Do you think this is do you feel like this is being set up as a one and done, or is there more to be done with this character outside of, cameos in the other shows and an appearance in the movie?
Well, I think seeing how Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian played off of each other, I feel like it's very much kind of like the MCU, where the characters kind of weave in and out of each other's stories. And just because a show has a title that is associated with one character doesn't necessarily mean that other characters aren't going to be in it and they aren't going to have important plot points and advancements in their character development in it. So I think in general, I would expect to see Ahsoka show up in this story to continue. And I would assume that the movie that Dave Filoni's been given is going to have Ahsoka in it. I mean, it would be kind of a no-brainer to think that Dave Filoni movie is going to have Ahsoka in it. So I'm sure that we'll see a lot of her. But as far as this particular show and having her name like on the banner, I think it depends on the particular story that they're telling and, how quick they want to tell it. I kind of wouldn't be surprised either way if they try to just tell it in one season and then kind of move the plot on to other things with her, or if they want to kind of drag it out. I kind of can see both happening equally.
I'm curious to also know like what the plan is to lead into the movie, because I feel like there's been a lot of talk with Star Wars and with Marvel as well about like scaling back the amount of shows. And so I feel like at one point, a second season of Book of Boba, a second season of Ahsoka, those things almost felt like a given. Mm-hmm. But now we've kind of shifted into, the second Iger era, and he's refocused what Disney is focusing on. And now we're perhaps going to maybe, we'll have another season of Mandalorian to really set up the movie, and maybe something else after that. But I wonder if there's going to be some plot lines that were really going to be explored in big, meaningful ways that get a little bit, not that don't get like, buried, but just get a little bit of the shorter end of the stick. I'm thinking about Cobb Vanth. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of him in that tank at the end of Book of Boba Fett. And, that felt like set up for season 2, but but it doesn't seem like season 2 is happening. So is he going to pop up in Mandalorian? Is he going to pop up in Skeleton Crew? Where are we finding old Cobb Vanth? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do the lead into this movie now that the focus has shifted.
When is he going to get his own show? Robo Marshall? We're going to get that.
Robo Marshall.
What a name.
Good name.
I'm really optimistic for Ahsoka, even with the real large amount of excitement and hype going into the show. I have a feeling it will live up to that, and I think Disney are going to be very excited by how well it does. That's my prediction. And I think that the Kenobi series was interesting because that was like this is a one-off series.
Mm-hmm.
Then it kind of had that kind of atmosphere of we're gonna do season 2, like we're gonna give more of this,
or
and then it did. Yeah, but it didn't really kind of have that feeling. By the end of the show, there wasn't this resounding push of everyone saying it. I know people like me and Dom who adored Kenobi, and probably most of you guys as well. We would love a season 2, but and then even now we have that feeling of like, Kenobi, it doesn't feel like that's going to be continued. Whereas I think the opposite will happen with Ahsoka. We're kind of going into it going limited series, kind of unofficially being used with this. But then I think Disney right now and probably earlier have really realized kind of what a gold mine they could be sitting on with this show and go, let's give this another season because I think this is going to be really good. So I think we will get an Ahsoka season 2. That's my prediction. I think, even just doing a little cut screen, like a little thing at the end of the, end of the finale episode, Ahsoka season 2 coming 2025 or something like that. And have like one more season before Dave's movie. That's my prediction for this.
Yeah. I feel like Ahsoka as a character has been underestimated at every turn. And I don't just mean in the story, but I mean like in real life. Like, what was one of the first things that Disney did? They canceled the Clone Wars. And they didn't realize what a sort of, gold mine they had until 5 years later when they went, oh, we need something to put on our streaming service. Well, what's something Clone Wars, people like that. Okay, I guess we're bringing that back. And, she kind of was brought into Rebels kind of, as a bit of a reveal, as a bit of a nod, but it was kind of meant to be, she was kind of left as a secondary character on that show. And just all the way through. And again, I go back to this past celebration. The hottest ticket there was the Ahsoka panel. more so than the showcase, more so than Bad Batch or Visions or anything else, or the Kenobi retrospective or anything else. The Ahsoka, that was the thing people wanted to see. And, you know, taking a poll of Star Wars fans, hey, do you like this Star Wars character? Maybe isn't the best way to judge how well something's going to do with the wider audience. But I think there's going to be some people surprised when this character, who was the subject of so much negative discourse back in 2008 when she first popped on screen, becomes the biggest show of the year, or one of the biggest shows of the year. And I'm here for it. Yeah. I'm here for it. Been here since 2008 for it.
Yeah. And the fact that the storyline and the characters seem so broad, I think at the very least, if we don't get Ahsoka season 2, we will get another show perhaps focused on Sabine or Hera or Chopper. Maybe Chopper gets his own show. Yes. And, you know, there'll be a continuation of that. Continuation with that crew, because Ahsoka's not just about Ahsoka. It's about bringing all the characters around her and continuing all of their stories. So naturally, we'll at least get them all in the movie. And then I think after that, I think before that, we'll probably get something else. So like the story will continue in one way or another. Just like I think that, like, I'm not holding out hope for Book of Boba Fett season 2, but I can guarantee you Tamara Morrison's going to be back as Boba Fett at some point. If not the movie, the Heir to the Empire, whatever we're calling it, but maybe sooner. So, you know, there's so many different options. And I mean, we keep comparing it to Marvel because Marvel does that. Marvel will have characters show up, and Marvel's kind of learned that, like, oh, if we team up these characters in their own movies and not just have it focused on one character, it's better for the story. So, you know, there's a lot of possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Catherine, let me ask you something, because you said one of your main cosplays is Hera.
Yes.
We're getting live action Hera in this series. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is taking on the role. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings on that news?
I'm so excited. And I because part of when I was putting the Hera costume together was so frustrating because it was not, you know, designed to fit on an actual human. And there was some shenanigans with the costume of how I had to sew in a fake zipper because she has a fly on her jumpsuit, but then it gets skinnier at the waist after that. So it's this is useless. This is not functional at all. So I'm appreciating that, you know, they're actually, having to put it on a real person, because if I was going to do this version of Hera, it would probably be a little bit easier. And the other thing, her holster for her blaster is in her boot. And I just didn't even with that. I was just no, it wouldn't. I just, you know, walking through a convention, my blaster just flopping around everywhere. No.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I haven't done my Hera costume in a long time, honestly, just because you know, with as we started doing events again after the pandemic kind of lapsed a little bit, you know, wearing a mask with green paint is not, no. And now I'm in Arizona and it's just so hot that the paint with that would no. But maybe it might, I don't know. We'll see. I made my own lecu for the version of Hera that I did, because when I was making the costume, they did silicone lecu were not a common thing yet. They were all latex, and you can't take latex into the Seattle Children's Hospital and many other children's hospitals. So because the way I constructed them, I'd have to do them over again if I was going to do this other the live action version of Hera. And that would be a pain. So if I was going to do it, I might just, I'd probably just buy a pair of silicone lecu now since they actually exist. But that's a whole, you know, whole other, probably not the answer that you were looking for of just oh yes, let me pick apart the costume pieces of it. But yeah, I'm excited to see more Hera. Love her. When we were costume groups, we went to go see Rogue One, and we were invited to do it at a theater in costume, and I wore my Hera costume for that because it seemed thematic. And so the part where like General Syndulla, please report to the main hangar, plays over the intercom, like I legitimately squealed, and like that is not normal behavior for me. And one of my friends was just like giving me so much shit for it afterwards, and it was so funny. And then like leaving the theater, everyone was just like, oh yes, General, like just like yes. So I'm really excited to see more of her in live action. She's just such a fun character.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I genuinely, I love the I had no idea that her costume was so impractical. That's hilarious that there's like what looks good in animation and with no concept of somebody might have to wear this someday.
Yeah, it's really, animated costumes are rough. Book costumes are worse. Like because with an animated costume, at least like a full turnaround exists. But like when I was putting my Ferris costume together, like God, like it's just like I'm like the Japanese book covers had the best references for them, and so like I'm looking at like on Wikipedia has like all of it, but the artist who did like tons of the Japanese covers, I'm gonna completely butcher saying his first name. It's like Toshio Nagano. I'm just gonna call him Mr. Nagano because I'm confident that I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. He is an amazing artist, and he actually like draws seams into like the garments of like the characters that he's illustrating, which is awesome. So I actually ended up, I'm gonna pop off screen really quick because I got
I want to see this.
Much anticipation.
Yeah.
I ordered from Japan.
Wow.
In order to like get a better, I mean, obviously you can't see it now that it's like on the screen.
I'll pay Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
But like being able to see it in person it helps with like the cosplay angle of it. Yeah. So I have this one, and then because Mara is my favorite, I also did this version of Mara, and the only person who does not like know me personally to know that if I'm wearing a red wig, that means that it's a Mara costume that's probably obscure. The only person who recognizes Mara who was not my friend was Timothy Zahn. So womp womp. I mean,
wow.
Everyone else thought that I was Fem Han
good.
Solo.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, and then this is the third one that I have of his stuff, which this costume is my white whale because I've been trying to put it together, and it just like it's no one. I found like a 501st build thread from somebody for like 6 years ago, somebody in Australia actually, and she got like 90% of the way done and then just never logged on to the forum again.
Jeez.
Like
I'll find her. I'll hunt her down.
Yeah, like it's just this whole part, like it's you can't really see it with me just holding it up, but like it looks like it's a very like kind of like a Kevlar-y, like it's something protective, but also it's super form-fitted. And so I have tried like all of the usual tricks for that, and nothing is working the way I want to. So yeah, it's a party. But anyways, yes. Costuming animated characters is hard. Costuming book and comic characters is worse. And it leads to, ordering books from Japan, because even like I read absolutely no Japanese, but they're pretty, and
yeah, I
can
say.
justify
good image of it.
Yeah, I can justify it with needing to see where the seams are.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yes.
Amazing. All right, let's keep going and sticking in the Mando verse. Of course, we'll remind you next week, June 28th, Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian: The Making of Season 3 comes out. The best title for any Star Wars project ever. But I have to almost say, I kind of appreciate the fact that they're sticking with it. Like we've roasted them for 4 years straight about this title, and they're like, you know what? We'll change it for all the other shows, but Mandalorian is still Disney Gallery. damn it, it's ours. I love it.
So good.
Love it. And the clip that there's a preview clip out. It's pretty interesting. Go check it out. And of course, watch the episode next week.
Random as ever. They're
Yeah.
like, I just love there's no prefacing this at all. No, nothing. And then just suddenly on your social media, hey, this thing's here now. Go watch it. So, all right.
It's that dinosaur supervisor guy from Jurassic Park that's responsible for all these people dying. Yeah, I remember him. Phil Tippett, you know what you did.
Phil Tippett. Oh, love it. But sticking with the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal was interviewed by Variety this week. And he talked about something that we all talked a lot about with season 3 of The Mandalorian, which is the fact that Din Djarin never took off his helmet. This is what Pedro says. He said, it didn't seem true to be concerned with Din Djarin's face. And we also had to be economical if it was going to be done for it to have the most amount of impact. Then he says there was actually a version of an episode of season 2 where he takes off his helmet at the beginning of the episode and is in kind of a different costume. And there was a conversation and I was like, I think we should hold it. And they were like, are you crazy? And I was like, no, I really think that it should come when the stakes feel their highest. I'm not the outlier out of the universe who doesn't care about my face, but I would much rather the show work than betray any kind of human need to be seen. Interesting.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Good answer from Pedro.
Fascinating.
He doesn't have an ego about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like, I can be in this, one of the biggest shows of all time, and also go be in The Last of Us, one of the biggest shows of all time, because of, the way that they shoot this series. So I think it's easy not to have an ego when you're stepping aside to go do something else where your face is very much front and center and everybody's going to love you for it. So
and also, I mean, he's not wrong that it's special when his face shows up. And if it was just he just walked around without his helmet for an entire episode or an entire season, then that specialness is gone. That's not to say I'm all in on the helmetless Din for an entire season. Please, for the love of God, season 4, let's make that happen. But I get where he's coming from.
Yeah. Well, they made such a big deal about him taking the helmet off in season 2, and it is a little bit odd that there is not a scene in season 3, and so but it raises the question of, now that Din Djarin and Grogu have been reunited, what is so important to him that he's going to take the helmet off again? Because now it's like, now he knows how to get away with it. He takes his helmet off and then goes has a quick swim on Mandalore, and he's back, so he knows how to get around it. But clearly it means something to him as a character. So what could happen in season 4 or in the movie that is so impactful, so important to the character that he goes, all right, helmet off again. Here we go. I don't know. That's the question for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to answer, but it's an interesting one to ponder until we get the answer.
He just really wants an ice cream cone. Gotta take it off for that.
Oh my god.
Crap.
Oh,
good stuff. Good
this
stuff.
Is not the way.
It's been really interesting for me, coming with all of this cosplay background kind of thing, to see the acting in his helmet, because I have gotten very used to my friends running around completely helmeted and reading body language, especially watching out, making sure that nobody's getting dehydrated in their costume, because that it's a problem. Stormtroopers and Vader and stuff like that, they're so enclosed sometimes that they don't really communicate well when they need to step out and stuff like that. But I've been really impressed by how well he, and there's another actor as well who's in the Mando suit, but just the level of body acting that they've had to do to convey emotion without any facial features. It's definitely an interesting acting exercise, and a thing that most actors don't have to do.
Yeah. Not John Wayne, Brendan Wayne, grandson, and Lateef Crowder, those guys have nailed the art of mask acting. It's terrific stuff. All right, one last news story for this week. It's June, it's Pride Month, and how better to celebrate then with a casting milestone with The Acolyte. It's made its way online. I don't know if it's official yet, but it's pretty much official that Star Wars has cast its first transgender actress in a prominent role in a series. Abigail Thorne, British actress, is set to play Ensign Eurus in The Acolyte.
Have you not heard this, Chris?
Wait, no. Not only have I not heard this, but I am a massive fan of Abigail Thorne.
No way, yeah.
What? Abigail Thorne, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Ensign. What's the name of the character?
Holy
Ensign.
Ensign.
Oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Gosh.
This was revealed on the United Agents website. I guess that's who represents Abigail.
Oh my gosh. This is the most amazing news I've ever heard in my life. Abigail Thorne is a YouTuber. She runs the channel Philosophy Tube, which is one of my favorite YouTube channels. And she's used that to launch a career as a theatrical, like a theater actress. She writes her own plays and performs in them.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's
she is
crazy.
very talented.
From YouTube to Star Wars. How do we make that happen for ourselves? No, I'm kidding.
We're on the right path.
Show us the way.
Yeah, very exciting. Excellent milestone. Excellent casting in general. And yeah, looking forward to seeing The Acolyte next year. All right, let's get to Ask the SWU. We have a few other news stories, but let's save those for another time. Let's get to the part of the show where we answer the questions of the listeners and the viewers. This is Super Chats, Discord questions, and all sorts of good fun. And we'll start, as ever, with a Super Chat from one Joel Davis. Joel says, fears that any of the films announced may have to be dropped because of the strike, because the strike will drag on a lot longer. That makes logistics difficult to impossible. There's not really a question in there, Joel. Buddy, you need a question in there.
This is like the old, like, kind of like Facebook statuses where he's saying Joel fears.
Oh, okay.
That any of the films.
Joel Davis is fears. Joel Davis is fear.
He's continuing the sentence after the begins with his name. I'm pretty sure that's it.
Remember when that's how Facebook statuses used to work? Yep. I came across one from Facebook gives you your memories, and it was that's not a sentence. There was a sentence, a hockey player had retired, and it was like Dominic Jones is bye Matt Sundin. I was like, that's not a sentence. How does that's not constructed? That doesn't mean anything. What the hell are you talking about?
Amazing.
But yeah, fears that any of them. I mean, I'm not at this point yet. I think more likely, as we talked about last week, things will just keep getting pushed back. But hopefully they don't have to be. Yeah. Excuse me. All right, let's go to a Discord question. Oh, this is this really long one.
I can't even put that on the screen.
Yeah, that's not going to be on the screen. This comes from Hex Howell, who writes, "Hi, Matthias from Norway here. How's it going?" It's going pretty good here, by the way. Love the conversational vibe of this. Welcome, Hannah Ray, and thanks to you for being It is. Thanks to you for being such a wonderful host on one of the best podcasts on the planet.
That's true. That's true.
All right, Matthias has 3 questions. Question 1, with seeing that Vision Season 2 had different animation studios from around the world making shorts, do you think that there is any chance that they would let a Norwegian studio like Kvistin or Microfilm make a short? Very excited for how it's going to go with the pronunciation of this. I mean, I feel like the second one's pretty clear. I don't know what Kvistin is supposed to be, but Microfilm is just Microfilm, just spelled kind of wrong. or correctly if it's in Norwegian. And question 2, since we learned that the Ahsoka show is going to bring back Mr. Morrison as Rex, do you think that there's a chance that we could see him as the other clones, as outside of flashbacks, like Wolf, or maybe there's a chance we could see Boba? I've wondered long about how a meeting between Rex and Boba would go, even if it should happen much earlier in the timeline. Bad Batch season 3, please have him in there. Wishing you a good day / evening / noon / morning / whatever time zones.
Sums it up.
It's nighty night here, at least. So keep up the fantastic work. Question 1, could we get a Norwegian studio?
Please.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would
Give
be
us the
awesome.
Norwegian animation that we
Do it.
didn't know we needed in our lives, but we need it.
I mean,
I
I
hope
mean, I
that
think that
every
would be
country-
the goal now. Is like get every country, like get someone from Antarctica. Why not?
Wait,
Do it.
Antarctica's a country.
Is it?
I mean, the only people that are there are scientists on a rotating basis. So
I mean,
I'm sure...
they could draw something. They could draw and animate something.
There's nothing else to do there outside of your work. So yeah, I mean,
Get the
Passion
penguins
project.
to animate something.
yeah, there we
And
go.
draw something in the sand.
Well,
There you go.
they could be about about porgs.
Yes.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Like
But
porgs are
yes,
kind of like
Norway.
The-
Let's do it.
The Arctic porgs.
I hope they
Nailed
get to
it.
Norway before they get to Antarctica. You know, that's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
I kind of want to see this now.
Yeah.
About you, but
Yeah. Apologies to Kvistin and Microfilm. You guys
they
have to
should
wait
both
until
be
we.
in season 3. They should both be in season 3. Antarctica and Norway. Those top 2.
There we go. Top 2 classic hotbeds of animation.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. And what do we think? Tamura Morrison as other clones, Rex and Wolf and Boba. What do we think?
Can't pass up on that. Have to do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I-
that. I mean, I think anything's possible when you have Tim Morrison on set. Like they just different makeup, do something. Give him, what does Wolf have? He have mutton chops. Like just do that.
No, it's the prosthetic eye.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
does have. Ooh, how
yeah.
cool would that be to see Tim with that pretty
That would
be
cool
awesome.
prosthetic guy? So,
Yeah.
and then there's other clones. I mean, I would love it if we just get like 1,000 Tim Morrisons again. Like that would be great. Like what if we go to a clone colony? Like that would be so cool.
Yeah, for
Ooh,
sure.
I
for sure.
love that.
Like, there should be...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead,
Okay.
Catherine.
I understand why they didn't have Cody in the Kenobi series because it just like didn't fit in thematically, but I really hope that Cody at some point learns that he did not actually kill Obi-Wan before he eventually bites it, because that's gonna happen at some point. But
Right.
yeah, that'd be cool.
It
Yeah.
would be. And I mean, the Cody episode of The Bad Batch is still, I think, one of the best that they've done.
Yeah.
And thinking about that, like thinking about where his head is at, thinking he might have killed Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
And there he is trying to make peace. Pretty powerful stuff. Yeah. All right. I'd love to throw Boba into the Ahsoka series just because I feel like Boba got the short end of the stick with his own
he
show.
deserves
So
it.
let's throw him in there for a bit
Yeah.
of fun.
He should get to steal a couple episodes from somebody else's show. Is
Yeah.
only fair.
Exactly.
And Boba Fett and Ahsoka have a little bit of history. You go back to the season 2 finale of Clone Wars; they had a bit of a showdown, lethal trackdown, a classic episode.
Yeah.
All right, let's do another super chat. This one comes from Joel. This is Joel being provocative. Well, it's hot take corner with
Let's do
Joel.
it.
He says, I have a brain teaser for you guys to ponder. Revenge of the Sith is a great Star Wars movie on its own, but it stumbles as the conclusion to the prequel trilogy and the various threads that started.
Yes.
In episode 1.
Yes, I agree. This is always okay. So prior to the sequels, I've always said Revenge of the Sith is my least favorite Star Wars film, because while as a standalone film, it's absolutely amazing, it really just drops a lot of the stuff from the prequels. It's very hyper focused on Anakin, which I understand you have to do that. You need, enough time to really develop the full fall of his character. But it's very hyper focused on him. There's a little bit of Obi-Wan. There's way too little Padme. You go from the prequels that are very equally focused on those 3 characters to it being very out of balance in that film. And then anything else is just gone. Like, anybody that's in the underworld, like Boba Fett, kind of some individual stories about some clones. That's just all, it's not really in there. So I will say, though, that the existence of the Clone Wars show, for me, really makes Revenge of the Sith fit better, because I feel like the Clone Wars show added in a lot of those elements to it, like what happened to Boba Fett, and more stuff with Anakin and Padme, and more stuff with Obi-Wan, so much about the clones, that now when I watch Revenge of the Sith, I can really appreciate the Anakin story and not wonder in the back of my mind, like, what's going on with all these other characters that aren't here.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah.
I knew this was gonna fire Chris up, because I've been listening to you say this for 10 years.
I'll definitely echo that we needed more Padme in Revenge of the Sith. Like, she doesn't.
Absolutely.
She goes from so much to just not really doing much besides crying on a veranda, which. Yeah.
Don't we all?
But I think an overall problem with the prequels is just the fact that I think it was like you had 2 movies of George being like, I can do anything that I want. So he just like went all out. He did this like Phantom Menace. He's just like, oh, let's do a long pod race. Let's do all this stuff. Let's push the boundaries of special effects. Let's do all these amazing things. Then he's like, gets to Revenge of the Sith. He's like, well, crap, I actually have to put all this stuff together and make it work in a 2.5-hour movie. And it was really difficult. And I think, logically, if maybe he'd planned it out a little bit better, Revenge of the Sith wouldn't have had to do so much heavy lifting that it did. And that's the problem, is ultimately it's like you have so much happening, and certain characters fall by the wayside. Really, he should have just made it like 4 hours long. That way Padme would have actually had a story and everything else would have fit in just fine. Like, nobody would have complained.
I mean, you go...
Go ahead.
Like, the novelization, a lot of that, like, it would be a 4-hour version of it. And Stover met with Lucas for like 3 hours they were supposed to go over the script together, but instead they just talked about Jedi, which I'm hoping to like get some of that out of him at his panel at Legends Con, because we didn't really cover it in the interview that I did with him earlier, and because he just sort of dropped that in at the end, and I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, I think. Yeah, the 4-hour cut. I heard that like originally the opening sequence, like with rescuing Palpatine and stuff like that in itself, was going to be like an hour and a half before that got cut down. Like, yeah,
that sounds right.
Yeah,
wild.
There's those little tastes of it that were on the Complete Saga Blu-ray set of like the extended version of the Yoda Palpatine duel in the animatic form of I think Obi-Wan and Grievous chase on Utapau. Like, these really just like spectacular action sequences that would have just kept going. And that 4-hour cut, people talk about it like it was like a finished version. Go watch those animatics. It's very far from that, but man, it would be interesting just to see the unfinished version of it, just like those unfinished Clone Wars episodes they put out. That was a lot of fun.
I feel like there's enough footage out there that someone's like made a fan-made version of that and just like, taking bits and pieces and put it all together.
I love every new Order 66 sequence that comes out. Somebody updates the Revenge of the Sith supercut that's like 6 hours long or something at this point, with Siege of Mandalore and Bad Batch and even some Jedi Fallen Order in there. It's good stuff. All right, let's go back to the Discord. This one comes from Star Raptor, he who struggled so mightily in the Finish the Line last week. He asks, will the Rise of Skywalker comics adaptation ever see the light of day? And this is followed up by Matthew from Ion Cannon saying, follow up, should it see the light of day? I feel like this question is a little extra relevant this week because they did announce that Obi-Wan Kenobi is being adapted into comic book form. Catherine, I'm going to throw this one to you because I personally don't love the comic book adaptations that have been done. Yeah. And so I'm always like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Like, I honestly have been really disappointed by them. Like, I wanted to love them. I expected them to add more to the story, and they haven't. Like, in terms of the more recent ones, like, I think the Revenge of the Sith comic like some of the things from the novel, if I remember correctly, I probably don't. I felt like the Revenge of the No, yes, it does. It definitely does add more to it because like we see like Quinlan Vos on Kashyyyk. Like it adds something. Whereas like I remember being like very disappointed by the Rogue One comic adaptation because I wanted more. Like I was obsessed with Rogue One and I really wanted, like extra pieces. And it was just like, nope, this is okay. Like the art is beautiful, but it just, I don't know. Yeah. I think until they decide to start adding a little bit more to them rather than them just being a carbon copy, I don't really see the point.
Yeah. The novelizations these days have a little bit more to them, but it's a far cry from what your buddy Matt Stover did back in 2005.
I have an analogy for this. It's like if
please involve Oreos or Skittles. Please involve Oreos. Or Skittles.
It involves food. It involves food.
All right, here we go.
This is like when I don't know if this exists really, but when like a beverage, some sort of soda or, sweet, fun, non-alcoholic drink makes and like collabs with some sort of lolly or candy, like you'll get like Mountain Dew gummy bears or like, bloody, I don't know, Coke flavored like little like gummy bottles and things like that where like a beverage flavors like a candy. And it's like, it doesn't do anything. It's like, okay, that flavor is in a different form now, but it's like, it's really only for the people that really love Coke or really love Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
For everyone else, it doesn't really add anything to like, oh, this is my new favorite food. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is just a different, the same thing I enjoy in a different form, but to everyone else, it doesn't really add anything. That's kind of my...
Yeah. Like I'd rather have... Yeah. Oh yeah. If I can have I like a Coke, I like a gummy bear. I don't need them to become one.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to do something where the gummy bear adds to the experience of both the flavor of Coke and the experience of eating a gummy bear, which I'm not really sure how you do that. But the metaphor works. It works. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Thank you. There you go.
All right. Nailed it. Does that answer your crow question, Star Raptor? I don't know.
Get him on the line. Figure out what did it.
Probably could. All right. And another super chat from Joel. Said, I had Heir to the Empire and Jedi Academy in my school growing up, and I remember not understanding that it was post-Andor stories. Kept wondering when Darth Vader was going to show up. Oh, love it. Love it. Love those Star Wars misconceptions you have as a small child.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's terrific.
That's funny.
Terrific. First Star Wars novel I ever read was The Glove of Darth Vader, and strangely, it didn't turn me off of all Star Wars books for all eternity. That's who you should get at Legends Con. I want the author of that to come out, and we should do a reevaluation of The Glove.
There's something. We're working on somebody similar to that. So hold that thought. Yeah.
Oh, color me intrigued.
Yes,
I like it.
Interesting.
There you go. And back to the Discord. This one comes from Jesse. He says, if you were going to pen a Star Wars television series multi-season, what story would you tell? And would you go for live action or animated? And for the sake of the question, your budget for season 1 is $250 million, equal to Andor.
Whoa.
Well, I like the sound of this. All right, who's got a pitch? Who's got something?
You know what I'm gonna say.
I mean, for me, obviously, the Quinlan Vos show.
It's a good one.
Office, the Office style show that takes place like 5 years before the Phantom Menace, and it's focused on the Trade Federation and the Neomoidians of Newt Gunray, Lot Dodd, all the crew, and just what they're getting up to. And then, if you've read Plagueis, like they've got a bit to do with Palpatine and like their dealings with him. But it's got this like comedic undertone of like they're kind of idiots, but they kind of get involved with like the most evil guy in the galaxy. And it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
that's what I would pitch.
Newt Gunray is definitely the Michael Scott of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
And I feel like Palpatine could be the David Wallace. I like this. Let's see how this is working out.
That's my pitch. 25.
Lot Dodd is Dwight, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know any more
man.
Neimoidians
Anyway.
off the top of my head.
Yeah. Who's the other one? Who's the other one that's like, get this slime out of my sight? Who's that guy?
We got
He's,
Brune Hacko.
Dalty Dauphine. Dalty Dauphine.
Dauphine.
Fine. Is that him? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Whichever one is the stunted slime, that one's Dwight.
See, everyone would watch this show. Like, it sounds ridiculous. Everyone would watch this show.
Identity theft is not a joke, Newt.
Didn't George Takei voice one of the Neimoidians in Clone Wars? Like, if he went on like
Doug,
that,
right?
that would go
I
somewhere.
am General
Wow.
Lockdood.
Oh, Lockdood.
Oh, so good.
Good stuff. Can anyone top that?
Look, I'll just say I'll do the cop out answer and say that I want the reboot, not even the reboot, just the actual version of Star Wars Underworld, the show. Because look, while we have Ian McDiarmid in his prime, I really need to know about Palpatine's love life. So we need to make that happen.
Worst line out of the expanded universe. One of Palpatine's concubines. I just kill me right now, dead. I don't want to hear about it.
Boy.
You are a Palpatine. Now we know how this happened.
Oh man,
But I
Catherine,
think-
the
yeah.
Ferris Olin show.
Ferris Olin, and I think we can tag it up with yours, Chris, because I'm assuming you want your Quinlan Voss one to be about the path. And yeah. And like that Ferris was doing something very similar to that in the books. So, Quinlan, Ferris, team up. We can have Reva part of this too, as like doing her dark side detox with Quinlan, because I think that he'd be able to help her with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need my Aura Singh with force powers though. That's the only
Or
way.
sing. Oh, jeez.
Remember when she was supposed to be a main character of episode?
No. Oh no! Don't remind me.
Amazing.
Or
I
sing.
would just use the $250 million to make like 17 seasons of detours and just run it for as long as possible.
Oh,
I'm on
I still can't emphasize when I did a single video. I did a reaction to detours. I have never gotten so many negative comments on any piece of
Show
content
would've
I've
been-
ever made. People
that show
were
would've
just
been
going
great.
crazy. Just ruined Star Wars. Like, forget people hating the sequel trilogy. They hate that detours got. Oh, jeez.
It's so funny. I was at the celebration panel where they revealed it, man. I saw how excited people were in the room. They
were
knew
stoked.
it
The
was
true
going to be
fans.
great.
The true fans.
They saw us.
Oh, man.
Love it. And then Ben, I understand there's one final question.
Well, it's not really a question. It's that someone submitted something really cool to the show. And it wasn't an actual thing. It was in one of the other parts of the Discord. But I realized that I don't think anyone else had seen it. So I was like, I'm going to pull this and I'm going to make it a big surprise on the show. So feast your eyes on this. If I can get to pull up.
Yeah.
Better be
On what?
Of course, it's
Chris
taking a
fanfic.
second. So this is the latest, just magnificent creation from Kajira Creations.
Oh,
we are now
Look at
anime.
that.
Oh my
Holy
god!
crap. That is awesome.
And so she wrote in,
Wow.
and said, let me pull up this comment really quick. And she said, doodle of the main podcast host and the style of the characters from the Japanese language textbook Genki. Whenever I have the time, I would throw in some basic Japanese conversation lessons in comic form, starring these folks from the server, for this server, LOL. Assuming y'all learned the katakana words already, here's what host names would look like in Japan.
wow.
So this is our Japanese names.
Yeah, let's go through our
and
names.
Our Japanese likenesses, or anime likenesses, I should say.
Dominic Jones.
Jansu, I like it.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Hato Ben.
Hato. Hato Ben. Oh yeah, do we say it? We say Hato Ben, right?
I don't know. I genuinely have no idea.
It's like Din Grogu. It's like Din
That is
Grogu.
awesome. This is awesome. Shikiro Kurisu. I can't see how it has.
I like yours is like Raeside.
Raeside.
That's cool.
Hana. Oh
Hana
wow.
Raeside.
This is
like
so
it.
cool. This is amazing.
this is so
It
cool.
really does look like us. Like the
It's
eyebrows
so
are
good,
all
man.
perfect on each of our faces. That is amazing.
Yeah, she hasn't got the little shaving that you have.
The shaved part of my eyebrow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
And I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are Ben Hart, the Star Wars guy. So
And Chris, you have a cardigan just like that, Chris, don't you?
Yes,
You
I
got,
do.
like, this cardigan thing. Yes. This is
She like
amazing.
did some research. She like, this is amazing.
Jonzu. I gotta
I
call
have-
you Jonzu from now on.
I also apparently have to get a jacket like the one in the picture.
Yeah. It's like a baseball jacket.
I don't know.
And a
what that is.
Canadian hat. Yeah, get that hat.
Yeah.
So,
I like it.
Jonzu.
Oh, it's
Come on, Jonzu.
amazing. Look at that. Amazing stuff.
Oh,
If
wow.
you're not following Kajira on social media, you really should be. You're missing out on some great stuff. It's at Kajira Creations. Again, that's KAJIRA_creations. Creations spelt with a K. And there's some terrific stuff. And longtime listeners of this show remember the stuff that she sent in for us, whether it's Omega saying good soldiers follow orders. I liked your reaction to that one, Catherine. That was our reaction too. It's like terrifying. Terrifying. We also had Ben as Omega, Inquisitors playing Pokemon Go, but with Jedi and Yodana to close out the.
We need to have an album somewhere where people can
Yes.
see all this amazing art because just every time I don't think Kajira can top themselves, it just keeps going.
Incredible stuff. Really good stuff. But I think that's about it. I think that's where we are going to begin to leave things and begin to wrap things up for this week.
All right, that is it for this show. We want to thank everybody so much for watching and listening. You can follow us at the SWU on social media while you're waiting for the next show, which will be same time, same place next week. That time is 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays on YouTube. And of course, you can catch the show later on demand on YouTube and on your favorite podcast apps. Hannah, thank you so much for hosting tonight.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure coming back, learning so much, and having a good time testing the trivia. That threw me off. I wasn't ready for that. But it was a blast. Great to be here. And fantastic to speak to you, Catherine, about all the amazing things you're doing over there. I'm looking up flights to Burbank right now.
Come on, join us.
Oh, amazing.
Awesome. And of course, you can follow Hannah on social media at the Raeside, RAE side, for those of you that are listening. And Catherine, thank you so much for joining us. We are super excited for Legends Con.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, letting me talk about it and our Kickstarter. Yeah.
And of course, you can find that Kickstarter at legends-con.com, as well as all the other information that there is to be had about the convention. And then one more reminder, it is coming up just in a few short months, September 9th and 10th, and it's going to be in Burbank, California at the Marriott Convention Center. So make sure that you check all that out, legends-con.com. Dominic, thank you so much for hosting as well.
It was my pleasure. Hannah, you can leave. Just to read out from our private chat that's going on here. I'm not just trying to kick her off the show. She says here, I got to dip out first.
You can leave.
I forgot to say I'm leaving. Do I leave now?
How to exit.
Hannah, if you got to go, you got to go. You can go.
Okay.
Like,
All
we're
right.
not holding you hostage.
See you next week. Bye.
Oh, this has been a great show. Perfect way to kick off the first of many shows in the new studio. I briefly considered getting a glass bottle to christen this like it was a ship, but then remembered that I would have to be the one to clean that up, and decided, no, probably don't want to do that. Instead, we'll just do a great show. And that's what we did. It's been a blast. I'm not here again next week, but I'll be back in July at some point, and we'll have some more fun then. But it's been a great show, and may the force be with you.
And at Dominic J25 is where you can follow Dominic on social media. And finally, Ben, thank you as well so much for hosting.
First of all, I just want to remind Dominic he can leave now if he wants to.
You can leave, Dominic. You're good.
Go!
You did your thing.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Actually, he did leave. It's those people that were not watching the stream. So that was fun. But yeah, this was fun as always. And I will remind people, because again, Joel will kill me if I don't mention this. We are watching Raiders of the Lost Ark tomorrow night on the Discord. Come by around showtime, around 9 o'clock. And 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be putting on a thing, and we'll actually be streaming it in Discord. I don't know the legality of that. I don't care. But we're going to be. You can actually watch it. So if you don't have it for some reason, you can just come chill and watch it.
So basically, Ask the SWU next week is just going to be super chats because you guys are going to get the Discord taken down, right?
Possibly. Come and see what happens. That might be part of the show. Who knows? But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't seen the movie in a while, and for those of you who haven't seen it, Hannah is again not here for me to say this, but she has not seen it, so it'd be perfect time to drop in and see it. So yeah, come by tomorrow night. SWU Discord. It's going to be a great time.
Awesome. And of course, the link to join the Discord is in the description of the video, in the podcast descriptions on the podcast feeds. That is how you can find the SWU Network Discord. And of course, you can follow Ben on social media at Ben Hart with no E. If you made it all this way into the video without subscribing, make sure you punch that subscribe button, Chewy, on the way out. We want to give a huge shout out to the great super chatters that we've had tonight. Thank you, Joel, for your great super chats. And huge thanks to our channel members as well for helping support the channel. And of course, you can become a channel member at any time. And please leave a review and subscribe if you found us on a podcast app. That helps us out a lot. So we'll be back same time, same place next week. But until then, for Catherine and Hannah and Dom and Ben, my name is Chris, and may the force be with you.
Forgot about the picture. I forgot there's a picture. I was like, there's something else I'm supposed to do. I forgot to put the picture up. Oh, man. It's all right.